Parashas TZAV. And in this parasha, in the analysis by the Alter Rebbe, in a particular mimer which takes a pasuk from Sefer Yoel, and where it speaks about eating, and eating almost what is eaten. It's a very cryptic kind of a pasuk there in the second chapter. And the Alter Rebbe explains that the whole process of eating is one of the most spiritual activities and transformative activities that exist in the creation of the world. And here we are talking about something so prosaic as eating, and the Alter Rebbe is extolling its virtues to the nth degree. So he explains, eating is a process that takes place at all levels, all spiritual levels also. He explains that angels also eat. Now, of course, when we speak about angels eating, it's quite different than our process of eating. But there are spiritual parallels between the two. The food that the angels eat, obviously spiritual food, the function and purpose is that they should gain the strength to have the understanding and closeness to God. That's what their role is, to achieve states of closeness to Hashem through understanding. Now, when they eat, there's also a process of digestion, like we have a process of digestion, where in the image of the higher levels. Our digestion process purpose is to be able to separate that which the body needs from that which it doesn't need. So we're taking the food and moving it from its level and dissecting it to lower and lower levels, and beyond a certain level, we excrete it, we don't need it. Angels do likewise. But the thing is, because it's such a high spiritual level, even that which they don't need becomes, at lower levels, our food. So the angels of Bria create a food chain for the world of Yetzirah, and the angels of Yetzirah create a world chain for the world of Asiya, and in the spiritual Asiya it becomes physical Asiya. So that's what the angels do. They keep lowering the food chain to a point that it becomes finite and physical, and the human beings then eat. But what's the purpose of our eating? So the purpose of our eating is to elevate the food. Now hold on. The source of the food has come all the way down, so our eating is to bring it back up. Seems like a rather circular Sisyphus type of activity. Why do we have to bring it back from where it came? Let it stay there in the first place. So the answer is a reference to Yecheskel's vision. Ezekiel's vision, if you recall, was there was an image of a face on a throne and 4 faces surrounding it. The face of an ox, the face of an eagle, the face of a lion, and the face of a human, of Adam. And each of these have their characteristics and become the spiritual sources of all the things in creation, even in finite creation. So the face of the ox, ultimately, as it comes down to our level, becomes the physical food of meat. And when we eat the meat, what we're doing then is we're refining it so that it returns back to its spiritual source, but beyond, from the face of the ox to the face of the Adam. In other words, we're elevating the spiritual food to a level of spirituality. We're taking it from the physical, making it spiritual, and refining it to a spiritual level beyond what it was in its origins, because we have that capacity, because the soul comes from a higher source than the angels do, and we transform the world. Our eating transforms the world, not just the physical world, but all the worlds. So obviously we have to take much greater degree of seriousness in terms of our eating and our intentions and our state of mind and our purpose. So let's see if we can replicate that in a meditative format so that we actually become much more conscious of it. Gently close your eyes and begin imagining that you're approaching your dinner table, and there is all this fine food on the table. The host or the hostess has prepared an extremely fine meal, and you're beginning to salivate, and the body's getting ready to consume the food. But then you remember we learnt a discourse, a maimer of the Alter Rebbe, who says that eating transforms the whole universe, spiritual and physical. I have to approach the table with gravity. I'm going to be approaching with a very high purpose in mind. I sit down. I remember the focus. I'm elevating the food now. First I make a bracha, which means a way of drawing down a channel for my energies to elevate this food through. And then I eat the food. And although I enjoy it and it satisfies me, at the same time it provides me with mind and emotion, koiches, strengths, capacities to carry out mitzvot. And when I exercise these koiches, when I implement them in a manner which Hashem desires of me, I've taken the original food and elevated it. So feel and sense the process of eating as one of elevating all the angelic forces, all the levels of creation. You're raising the worlds on your shoulders and lifting them up with each morsel of food that you chew on. You cannot fail but to feel how wonderful it is to be a created human being with such an amazing capacity. Think about that for a moment. And then gently open your eyes, coming all the way back, preparing for your next meal.